Am I the a-hole for telling my parents that either I move out or they do something about my brother? Original post. I, 25 male, live with my parents in a very expensive city. We stay in a 3-bedroom high-rise. My mom decided she wanted to move to this city because she was tired of living in the country. I agreed to move with them because the city had many software engineering jobs. I was able to get a high-paying job and make 6 figures. My mom and dad are school teachers and their combined income is just under what I make. My brother James and his wife Mary had originally stayed in our old state, but once she found out she was pregnant, my mom and dad invited them to move into our house. I work from home sometimes and pay 75% of the bills and mortgage, so the spare bedroom was my office. My brother and his wife showed up at my house, which I didn't know about, and demanded my room. My room has a walk-in closet and bathroom. I told them to take the office because it has an air mattress for guests, but my parents told me to let them have my room. I reminded them how I pay most of the bills, and I'll move out if they have my room. My mom yelled at me and told me I was a jerk, but my dad just told them to go to the spare room. I went to the office the next day but forgot my laptop, so during lunch, I came home and found my sister-in-law taking my stuff out of my room. Everyone else had left for work. I yelled at her and asked what the hell was she doing. She screamed back that my mom said to do this. I grabbed all her stuff that she moved, which wasn't a lot, and threw it on the floor, and told her I will kick her and my brother out if her stuff is in my room when I get back from work. My brother and mom blew up my phone when I was at work, and my dad started a group chat and said that there will be a family meeting when everyone gets home. I stopped at his door to grab a knob with a lock for my door. My parents, sister-in-law, and brother was sitting on a couch when I got home. My brother tried to get in my face, but I'm taller and bigger than he is, so I just put my hand on his face and shoved him out of my way. I knew this infuriated him because he's older than me. My dad told me that I should just let them have the room, and my sister-in-law smiled at me. I told them that I pay most of the bills and they are living under my roof because my name is on a mortgage. And if they want the bigger room, they could either pay me rent or the 4 of them can move out. My dad tried to bargain with me, but I told him I'm not talking about this anymore, and if I hear about it again, I will have everyone evicted. My sister-in-law started crying and I went to my room. My dad is treating me okay, but everyone else is giving me the silent treatment. I thought everything was okay, but the next night I came home from dinner. My mom made everyone but me a plate. She said until I give up my room and be a good son, she will not cook me dinner. My dad agreed with her. I paid for every grocery, so I went into my room and printed eviction notices for my mom and dad. My brother and sister-in-law hadn't been there long enough to be considered squatters. I told my brother and sister-in-law they had an hour to pack and get out or I'll call the police. Then told my parents they have 30 days or I'll take legal action. All our extended family stay in a different state, and they don't have the money to support 4 people in this city. My mom begged and tried giving me her plate, but I said it wasn't about the food. My parents put my brother and sister-in-law in a hotel room for the night, and my mom tried to apologize, but I ignored her and went to my room. I'm writing this right now to see what I should do, because I'm honestly confused. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Your mom just decided to ask your brother and sister-in-law to move into the home that you pay for and then decided to play games. Well, the 4 of them can just move back since they can't afford this city on their own. That was the stupidest attempt at a power play I've ever seen. It is time for you to enjoy your place on your own. Mom played the "if I don't get my way, I won't cook for you" card and quickly found out that if OP has to cook anyway, she doesn't need to be under his roof at all. She tried to withhold the one thing of value she brings to OP, having to share his home with 4 people, and they wanted to stick him in the office? The best thing is, she was cooking everyone else's meals with the food he had paid for. The audacity of that blows my mind. Right? Like, she's already noticed that it pays for everything, and she still tried it with this. Not the a-hole. I'm guessing the parents and brother thought they had autonomy over you because you're the youngest. Your actions have proven they don't. Your mother, though, wow. It's good that you didn't hesitate to put her and your brother in their place. Otherwise, this could have dragged on to them railroading you. Perhaps they'll get a place together. The obvious solution since both couples are now and will be homeless. Not your problem since everyone is an adult. Adult enough to make these decisions, and adult enough to reap the consequences. I was thinking this was a classic, tell me your sibling is the golden child without saying they are the golden child. I mean, he could have played this passive-aggressive like mom, but I'm glad he didn't. Though I suggest he buy no food for the house for the rest of the time they stay there. In fact, start interviewing people to rent their room. In fact, if you have friends that your parents don't know, do a mock house showing and let them know how much the room is renting for. I'm always happy when these situations bite the parents and entitled siblings in the butt. My mom kicked me out when I was taking care of her as she's disabled, paying the bills, maintaining the house, etc. because I made my sister mad by setting a boundary. Sister moved in. Now the house is a hot mess. My mom hasn't had a home-cooked meal in years, and my mom has told me more than once how she misses how I did everything. I've told her I'm never doing that for her again and plan on moving overseas. She had a gem in you and didn't appreciate it. You understood your value and didn't let them disrespect you or cross your boundaries. I love this for you. Live your best life overseas, love. Now for the update. I went to work and my parents had left before me, which was unusual. But my mom had texted me throughout the day with apologies. I've seen comments that said my mom might be narcissistic, but this is the first time she's acted like this. So I was honestly hurt when it happened. But when I came home from work, my brother, sister-in-law, and parents were sitting on a couch. My dad said they're sorry for the way they acted and thought because I'm usually the voice of reason that I was going to back down. My brother said the request seemed small, and because I have a perfect life, giving up one thing to accommodate him in his time of need is what family does. Side note, my brother has no debt. My father is a veteran, so we were able to get free education somehow. But because my brother changed his major 5 times, he had to pay for 3 years of extra coursework that wasn't covered. My parents took on that burden and are still in debt because of it. They also didn't sell or rent out the old house because my brother convinced them that he would like to start a family there someday. So they have some debts because of it. But my brother is not in need of anything. My brother also told me that because it's our parents' condo, they should have a final say. I explained to him that it's my condo and my name is on the mortgage, so they actually get no say in what goes around here. He was confused. He said I possibly couldn't afford this place on my salary. He said a person making $50K a year could not live this lifestyle. I explained to him that I make 3 times that much, and our parents can't afford to live here without me because of the mortgage back home and the student debt. James said that Dad took care of the student loans and that the old house was already paid off. I looked at my parents wondering why they lied to him, but I explained that they're in a ton of debt because of him and refused to sell the house because of what he said. James asked our parents why they didn't tell him all of this. My mom burst out into tears, telling James they knew he was jealous of me since I was in high school. Mom knew that me playing varsity football my freshman year of high school when he rode a bench as a senior is what started his dislike. And me playing college level at a Big Ten school didn't help. We also graduated the same year. So James told Mom that it wasn't fair that I got to do all those things. So Mom and Dad began babying him in order to compensate for this, so he wouldn't hate me, and a family could continue to be around each other without animosity. James just walked out the door without speaking another word. My sister-in-law apologized and said she didn't know it was my house. I asked her why would that change anything. She ignored my question and went to the guest room. My dad tried to explain that they felt like they failed my brother. I asked was it just because of the football thing. He said it was because James wasn't given the same opportunities as me. I explained how James kept school to drink and smoke and join a gang. I asked, do you think we should have gotten the same opportunities? My dad said it was hard to explain. I told him what's easy to explain is the eviction notice, and he has 30 days. So I left to my friend's house and that's where I'm at now. Last story. Update. Am I the a-hole for storming out of my father's house after finding out he's reconciled with my mother? Original post. I, 20 female, was raised by my father, 49 male, alongside my older brothers Lyle and Kyle, both 23 male twins. Mom left us shortly after I was born, so I've never really had a maternal figure growing up. I've tried to ask my dad why Mom left, but he would always try to dodge the question. Anyways, this kind of messed me up a little bit as a kid, because I would always blame myself for her leaving. And it also didn't help that my older brothers would always use the old trusty "you were why Mom left" card in arguments. During my middle school years, my mom began to call me and my brothers. She swore up and down for years that she wanted me back in her life, but didn't make any effort to get to know me. So that woman broke a lot of promises with me and my brothers. The last straw for me was when she didn't come to a beauty pageant I'd been excited for months. I know that sounds really petty, but at the time it was really important to me, and she swore up and down that she would come. Of course, she broke that promise too. So when Mom called to apologize for not coming, I let that woman have it. I think the call almost lasted an hour and a half, and it was mostly just me cussing her out. Obviously, ever since that phone call, I've been no contact with her. But a few days ago, my dad texted me if I wanted to have dinner with him and the boys, saying that he was going to make my favorite meal. Of course, I agreed. I walk in the house and I hear my dad and my brothers talking. Nothing unusual, of course, but then I hear a woman laugh. So I walked to the kitchen and saw my dad, Lyle and Kyle, laughing and talking with my mother. So, at this point, I'm mad and confused. And I think I thought out loud because I said, "What the heck is she doing here?" Everyone immediately becomes silent until Dad starts talking. Basically, he says that I need to watch my tone and that all they want to do is talk to me about their future. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Then my mother had a great idea to drop the bombshell that her and Dad got back together and had been dating for months. I think you can understand how gooped I was from this information. But then Lyle tells me that basically everyone in the immediate family knew about the relationship besides me because they were worried about how I would react. So I'm still standing there, shaking with rage. So when my dad tried to grab my arm to sit me down so we could talk, I snatched it back and basically stormed out the house. Now, I've been bombarded with texts from my dad and Lyle saying I was immature and made mom cry. My friends are 50-50 on it. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole for how you feel. They blindsided you and then blamed you for your reaction. If you choose to have nothing to do with your mother, you shouldn't have to. But realize your father is an adult, free to be involved with whomever he chooses. I know he's a grown man, but I just don't understand what he sees in her. She literally left him with 3 kids to raise all by himself. But now that they're all grown up, she wants to come back? This whole situation just has me in a tizzy, to be honest. Focus on what you want. Do you trust your father and brothers enough that you want to continue a relationship? Trust is not the word I would use, but I still love them very much. They've never done anything this hurtful, besides Lyle, but what he does is tame compared to this. He mainly makes fun of my fashion sense. It would have been better for your dad to talk to you alone. The fact that they all kept it from you is very inconsiderate. I'm sorry. I've been there in the sense of being left out or always the last to know. Be strong. Thank you. I just feel so upset and confused with them right now because they never kept anything like this from me. Usually, my dad addressed matters with all of us. Now for the update. So before I get into anything, I just wanted to thank everyone for the kind words and reassurance. I wasn't really expecting it at all. I also want to apologize for the late response to everything. I've been busy so much with work and other things that I just haven't had a time. Anyways, with your guys' advice, I texted my dad and told him that I wanted answers about what the heck was going on. He agreed, but he said he wanted to have the dinner over at his place, and I had to tell him that I lost that trust when he tried to back me into a corner. So he came over to my apartment, and I had my friend Male24 stay in my sewing room for protection. Dad just started sobbing, begging for forgiveness. He kinda went on about how he just wanted us to be the family that we were 20 years ago. The family I don't even remember. And to let you guys know, these were definitely not crocodile tears. So I hugged him to calm him down, but I had to put my foot down and tell him I wanted answers, not tears. He calmed himself a little bit down and explained everything that I asked of me. 1. Mom was very young when she got together with Dad, with a significant age gap. They started dating right after her high school graduation. 2. My mother had a history of drug addiction, something I had suspected. She overdosed once, and my dad had to rush her to the hospital. The twins suffered during this period. 3. I was an unplanned pregnancy, and my parents decided to put my mother in rehab during her pregnancy. She remained miserable, and she ran away to Florida after my birth. 4. Recently, my mom got clean, got a job, and wanted to apologize to my dad. They rekindled their relationship and decided it would be best to let the twins know first before they tell me. It was nice to have this information, and I thanked him for it, but I asked him why didn't she apologize to the kids, whose hearts she broke constantly. Of course, he started to backpedal, saying that I just needed to give her a chance to prove herself, because the twins already have. I added it was a really horrible move not to even mention to me that Mom was back. And I had to explain to him that I have given another chance, way too many times, and that she destroyed that bridge beyond repair. But I did tell him that I wasn't going to cut them off for it, but Mom was just going to be the new woman, and that we needed to go to therapy without Mom before we continued anything. Dad was a little upset when I laid down this information to him, but he did agree on therapy and said he would tell Lyle and Kyle about it. He did told the twins. Kyle was down, but Lyle was mad. He tried calling multiple times and wouldn't pick up, so he started texting me horrible things, basically boiling it all down to me being a spoiled brat that needs to get over the past. I gave him a piece of my mind before I blocked him, and we've been no contact since. We also had our first therapy session, and it wasn't groundbreaking. It was just kind of like an introduction type thing and kind of addressing what we want to work on. I showed the therapist my post when I was alone with her to give her more context, because I can be scattered brain at times. She says she definitely wants to go deeper on my feelings about my mother, alongside my father and brothers if possible. I hope the therapy helps. This sounds like the most positive outcome anyone could have hoped for, to be honest. Especially Mom. You definitely owed a huge apology from her. Multiple. It strikes me to not be so hard on your dad. He has clearly loved her this whole time. And Lyle probably saw how hurt and damaged he was after she left, so is happy for him. You are one family, but all experienced and saw different things in this situation. I'm sorry your dad couldn't articulate that she didn't leave because of you though. So confusing for a young child, and such an easy fix with the right words. Thank you. It's also been helpful during this situation to see Dad's side of things. Makes me put things in perspective. But at the moment, I just can't bring myself to have anything to do with my mother. And it also didn't help that Lyle went ape on me as well. I'm just hoping everything falls into place in the future.